Okay, and we are on. Hi everyone! Welcome to the explanation of the design process for our video game design expectations. How do we design a video game design? Why is this a cool unit? I'm going to go over research, touch on the natural way to draw, talk about the importance of revisions, and then why you should be reflective. Again, the goal of this is to improve our sustained investigation for AP Art and just kind of make those discoveries through narrative. So a video game goes through a story. I am doing this unit because I realized I never taught the natural way to draw. My teacher, John Rush, gave me the book, The Job of the Teacher in Nicolades, The Natural Way to Draw. As I see it, is to teach students not how to draw, but how to learn to draw. Okay, so like, what is this process of inspiration that's going to move you? This unit is based on this book, Video Game Art. So as I went through the process of doing my first SI, I realized how important it was to have a mood board. So here's the criteria for a strong mood board, which includes research of different like painting movements to get ideas for that world, and a strong reference photo. And I realized a lot of the photography you guys are working through doesn't have a lot of contrast and visual juxtaposition of color and light to make the world that your character is fighting through, the question that they're seeking, exciting. We've been practicing drawing so far, and reminders that I want to give you is as you're drawing, move around the page. Think in lights and darks and marks, rather than line. A lot of you guys are just doing line. Drop similar colors like as you have them on your brush. So if you're going dark, go everywhere, and think in angles. So I'm modeling the process of going ahead and drawing my husband right now, and I asked him to stand like a video game character, and I'm thinking in blocks and angles, and I'm using my H pencil, and I'm making adjustments. Okay, so you'll see me erase and make changes. Notice how I'm not getting stuck in one area. It's not a perfect drawing, but I'm constantly carving, and I'm thinking of drawing as sculpting, right? Where is the light? What are these 3D forms that make the human figure? And I do not negate landscape, right? I always work in landscape because the landscape is part of your central figure. Too often students just focus on like the portrait or the figure or the focal point, but they're not thinking cohesively. I want to push my students to use the materials in their sketch kits from Donors Choose. Yay, Donors Choose! Support, just because it's so important to like refine in pen, because often when we're working in different materials and processes, we have more discoveries, right? So I am making things bolder with a variety of marks and hatching. And if I have a mark on the figure, I'm going to have that dark mark everywhere else, right? I'm going to push you to use grayscale markers, right? So just so we have that full range of value. And notice how I'm dropping in some medium values and some lighter values. That's why I want you to think in marker and make sure you have that those lights, mediums, and darks, and that contrast, that visual juxtaposition. I'm looking at a painting right now to get ideas of my background, a combination of paintings in the mood board. And then the purpose of revision. This is tricky because we don't all have access to iPads. Some of us do because of Donors Choose. But you could go in and you can drop color with watercolor, or you can drop color with Procreate. I made the decision to do so, to drop color with Procreate, just because I have access. And what I'm doing is I'm modeling kind of the painting process. Like if I have blue on my brush, I'm going to put that everywhere. Now I'm putting in my lightest light, my whites, right? So as a painter, I put in my darkest darks and my lightest lights, and I have a tone canvas in gray. So that kind of knowledge and experience helps me to create unity. As I was doing this, I was realizing how important the design principles are, right? So I'm thinking about things like rhythm, limiting my color palette, repeating these circles on the ground to kind of create convergence and emphasis towards my central figure. I'm thinking about darkening the background so he pops out. I'm thinking about repeating similar strokes everywhere. So if I have a color, I'm going to drop it everywhere. And I'm thinking about visual balance. Things like this bright red and the white, they're going to really pop and draw the eye. And I want to have those heavy colors, those heavy values all over the page. I think color is central to video game design, so that like forces us to like think in color. Sometimes we don't like to think about that. And remember, color has intensity and value. So these are things that you should be considering. I was realizing too that I'd never designed a costume for this character, right? So we could be thinking about things in costume, what people will wear, but I'm pushing you to go to this unit, like do this unit, teachers and students, because it helps us to think out of the box, and ultimately it gives us more ideas. In our last couple of minutes, like as we're in this process and you've seen the process, I want you to reflect seriously, like, what are your next steps? Do you not have a strong reference photo? Are you not looking at a collection of images when you draw? Look at the rubric, right? And evaluate your process. How are you going to teach yourself to draw? Be inspired. It's your job to inspire yourselves. Push yourself with this video game design unit. 3 SIs in 3 weeks. Let's do it. Support us on Donors Choose. Woo!